Solar storm. Source: Science, Scientific American. By visualgk.com. Outburst of energy. The Sun is mainly composed of superheated gases, called plasma, surrounding a core, and sometimes due to a disturbance caused on its surface, there can be events, leading to a massive outburst of energy, across the outermost layer of the Sun, called the heliosphere, thereby affecting the whole solar system. These outbursts of energy from the heliosphere are what is known as solar storms. While most of them are insignificant to our daily lives, a few massive ones can wreak havoc in no time. Important facts about solar storms. The Sun is a dynamic source of space weather, with an area of influence extending beyond the outermost planets of the solar system. There are frequent explosions on the surface of the Sun that can affect life, the environment, and technologies on Earth. Roughly every 11 years, the frequency and intensity of solar storms increases. The biggest solar storms have the potential to devastate modern technologies, so it is important to track, understand, and prepare for these extreme events. What causes solar storms? The Sun is a big ball of burning gas, and solar flares are loop-like explosions at the surface. Solar flares often occur at the same time as coronal mass ejections or CMEs, where a chunk of the Sun breaks off from its atmosphere. The biggest flares can be tens of times the size of the Earth. When there is a coronal mass ejection, high-energy particles can travel at over 1,000 miles per second. These CMEs, when they strike the Earth, can cause moderate to serious geomagnetic storms, disrupting GPS satellites, and knocking out power grids. Explosion, equivalent to billions of nukes. Solar storms are of many types, depending upon their occurrence, and energy released. The most common one is a solar flare, which is a sudden explosion on the surface of the Sun, releasing as much energy as 1 billion megatons of TNT, according to NASA. By comparison, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima was equivalent to, at most, 0.017 megatons of TNT. Are solar storms dangerous? In general, the physical danger is low and controllable. The biological hazard inherent in solar and geomagnetic storms comes from the exposure to radiation, which is mainly a concern for astronauts and people flying at high altitudes. On the other hand, the disruptions that more severe storms can cause have the potential to bring about real damage. Milder storms may disrupt the satellites that handle GPS communications. But the more severe geomagnetic storms can spike the voltage in transmission lines, which could damage grid transformers, and potentially knock power out. A massive power outage in Quebec, in 1989, was blamed on a solar storm. Solar flares could disrupt technologies. Satellites knocked out. Bombardment by charged solar particles could deactivate satellites and cause radio communication blackouts, particularly in polar regions. Radiated passengers. The level of radiation to which plane passengers are subjected increases tenfold during a solar storm. But the total dose still rarely exceeds the effect of a standard X-ray. Affects power supplies and IT. Magnetic disruption, caused by electrically charged particles from the Sun, could influence power cables, or even paralyze power supplies. A solar storm might also cause internet outages. The most well-known severe solar storm event is called the Carrington Event of 1859, which experts now believe was two intense geomagnetic storms. It caused disruptions in telegraph networks, and green and white auroras were seen in many places around the world. The economic costs today of such an event could be trillions of dollars. Please like, share and subscribe. visualgk.com